Hi, and welcome to DocPoint Documentary Film Festival Helsinki 2022. My name is Roos Hekkens, and I'm here to moderate a Q&A with Marion Neumann, the director of The Mushroom Speaks, which is also nominated for DocPoint-Yle Award for Best International Film. Hi, Marion. I'm so happy to have a chance to talk to you.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
That's great. Well, thanks for your film. Like, it's a great way to turn someone's world upside down, inside out, with new information and impressions. Maybe it's a fun question first to ask, what is your favorite mushroom?
It depends the day and the moment and the meeting I'm planning to have. At the moment I'm interested in coprinus because I would like to make ink.
Yeah.
I'm working on a mushroom book, and so I think about ink.
I see, yes. Like, this is maybe leading to the next question in how do you relate to the topic? When did you first connect to this world of fungi?
Well, for the film, I came to meet Peter McCoy and the movement of radical mycology. So I would discover the book and wonder, in the subtitle is written that you can work and see with fungi. So the question of how to see with fungi was interesting me. And this meeting with Peter was really inspiring, and also Geoffroy Grignon, that is also a very active scientist, citizen scientists. And so kind of they made me aware of that mushrooms have been there all the time since I grew up close to a forest. So I would naturally gather mushrooms, and then later I would become a psychonaut. So I had quite early very important connections to psilocybin mushrooms that really changed my view on the living and on myself. Quite profound questions about consciousness, about how to be in this world. And so I guess the whole research for me is about a question of relation. How do we relate to the natural, and how do we relate to ourselves?
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it's quite a vast topic. If you start learning, it feels like there's so much more to discover there. And especially in relation to making a film, like, how did you start, like, your process and deciding what and who to include in this project?
I would mainly work by intuition. That's something I do also in my camera work. I'm mainly cinematographer.
Yeah.
So my research is this, to how to get in dialogue with what I'm observing, or what I've been observed by also. So this relation of the camera work is similar than gathering mushrooms in a way, or the same question about conversation. So it was, I mean, with Peter McCoy, I came quickly into a field of mushroom enthusiasts. I came to read Anna Tsing, and in my very personal research about psychedelism, or as a psychonaut, I would be in contact with Franz Vollenweider, because he's really a reference concerning those questions about empathy and consciousness that I'm curious about. And also my own relation to Zazen and Buddhism brought me to Vanya Palmas. So they were kind of already there, people I was curious about. And then I tried to, I function as fungi also, like rippling out in different directions. This, I knew that I would like to show many aspects, and also how I was wondering how to relate between these different people and their work, their research. So
Very inspiring, the way you describe the, like, your vision of the relation between camera work and, like, this communication, because I feel like in the visualization you found nice contrasts and nice ways to represent the topics in the film. Can you tell a bit more about how you found the visual representation. There's like some kind of impressions of, the microscopic that we don't see, and then also these vast big structures of humans build the cities that you like go past with motion, so you can really you feel the city kind of growing. So there's this contrast between big and small, which I found really inspiring, relating to the topic. Like, can you tell how you found these visual representations?
Yeah, exploring my own. I guess I like patterns and try to see it from the small to the big. I knew that I don't want to make it too psychedelic, but kind of in a realism or naturalism, or
Yeah.
I thought about light, and then I thought about also it was clear I would like to collaborate with other different artists, so I would recycle their images or appreciate their work. Also, Peter would show images there and people I met along the way. So and then, yeah, the big and the small, you say, the inside, the outside, always looking for this complementary movements, maybe trying to tell that it's everywhere but nowhere at the same time, so. And then we can talk about music, because kind of more than the visual, maybe the sound is more the mycelia of the film.
Definitely,
So,
yes. Yeah, please elaborate on that. It was definitely my next question, to hear more about the soundtrack, because it's really it's a nice way to say it, the mycelium, because it's really overwhelming, actually, especially because I think when you chose to have the mushroom speaking in subtitles, not like in audio, that combination made the feeling of the soundtrack even stronger. So I'm happy to hear more about the process of making that.
Yeah, again, like in the visual, maybe the absence of things was the interesting, this silence or this absence or the non-visible, the omnipresence of something that we are not aware of, or looking for awareness. And also in the encounter with Olga, the Olga Koksharova, the musician that would work on that part, would inspire this kind of reflection, or also inspire the way how we shoot and where we put a camera. How we relate also to the protagonists, and how we would invent the fungi. We were not so much thinking of how could we represent this, the fungal rain, but how could we interpret it musically.
So if I understand correctly, she was part of the process from quite early on. It's not in this case that it would only start in the post-production.
Yeah, no, from the beginning, even her thoughts on the subject would inspire the writing already. So our friendship kind of would grow there. So it's really since the beginning, and an intense exchange between her and me. We were mostly both of us. Sometimes David Huvila came with us, a camera operator I appreciate, and he would help us working on the film. But yeah, Olga, and then also in the editing, she would take part, and the idea that the sound would hold it, or would be like the film would be like a music piece. I mean, this was kind of one of the desires. So, yeah.
Did she have like certain techniques where the sounds came from? And this comes from an idea that I know that you can also create sound waves by connecting to a mushroom, like because there's so much energy, or I cannot describe it with the right terms, but coming from plants and mushrooms. So I started to be curious that are the sounds even made from mushrooms?
Yeah, no, we didn't want to disturb them. We knew it exists, but we didn't feel like exploring that, or communicate like that. But more as artists, what do we listen to, and how do we interpret it? How could we get into contact with it? And that everything is electricity, or magnetism, or kind of, yeah, the invisible again, the how could we feel it, taste it, smell it, hear it, see it. All these sensitive, sensual aspects were accompanying us, or we try to explore that and try to transmit that.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's wonderful, and I feel like really it's a combination of this visual, this music soundtrack, and then the text, because also those are very poetic and kind of stimulating thoughts. And I see on the credit that it's based on many different books. Can you maybe tell a bit about the process of making the text and how you choose your words there to tell the story?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, it's referring to Terence McKenna, of course, and his text about a beautiful proposition that the intelligence of fungi would inspire us and propose as a symbiotic collaboration if we give our hands to give it, to liberate the spores and to work with it. So
Is he
this
also
idea.
the person in the film where there's one part where we hear this man talking about the intelligence of mushrooms and that we could get a mushroom, a non-human perspective from mushrooms on the world? Yeah,
Exactly, yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yes, yes, ethnobotanist. I appreciate a lot his research, his work, his family for what they are doing. So, yeah, thinking about that, it was clear in referring to the title and maybe to extend it or to propose something with it was I wanted to refer to several people and their research, so I continued doing that to there are words of Sylvia Plath, Anna Tsing, Peter McCoy, so many people I've met along the way. And between my own words and thoughts and dialogue, it's again this conceptual idea of getting into dialogue with something and then to put it there as a subtitle, as a thought,
Yeah.
giving maybe the space to yourself, listening to your thought, to listen to your own voice while reading. Give space, actually it was giving space. And yeah, so this was suddenly there were many voices in this um, yeah, in this mushroom that speaks.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Um, you do start the text with a date, which is in March 2022, and it refers to a world falling apart, and it obviously made me think of the state of the pandemic that is happening here, and that humans are kind of making this world fall apart and maybe not have this connection, this relation to nature, the way we are actually connected with what we are destroying. Did you have some kind, did the pandemic have some kind of influence, or maybe did it change the process of the film? I started wondering.
Mm. Yeah, of course, suddenly there was this moment to precise, very precise moment
Mm.
that as a spore keeps falling or something very precise that changes everything. So this, yeah, it just happened as everything other on the way, but a virus that separates us and the mushroom, the idea that the fungal rain connects us. Of course, this was stimulating me, or it was beautiful. I mean, this moment, this date was just a date when we started confinement, and I was already confined into my own personal process
Yeah.
since a while. But then I thought like that, yeah, the world is not anymore the same after this moment, and felt like just that the diary was there anyway. You know, I thought I wrote all along these 8 years. There were so many stories, and so it was for me necessary way to bring back this idea of my very personal and our collective story at this
Mm.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
A moment that changes everything. This I thought a lot. This was maybe some of the insights of this intelligence, or from, you know, the fungal rain or mushrooms are so capable to adapt
Yeah.
to what's happening to them. They are so in quick response and so fascinating concerning this. And so really one moment can change everything. And to keep in mind, this idea is liberating me and inspiring me. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it gives in a way some hope, because you can feel kind of lost or desperate in a moment like this when you have so much uncertainty. But if you learn about these species that have lived for so long and are still rebuilding everything that mm, is lost, or that is destroyed. So it's quite inspiring in that way, that life is so powerful in that sense. I was wondering also that, like, because there is some obvious environmental connections to this topic as well, did you have certain intention to educate or to activate people by making this film as well?
In educating myself, became, or there came the idea, the desire to share that what I've learned, and also kind of the the responsibility or necessity to put it, I mean, to really do it also, you know, like after the film, to maybe go to the real film and to build up a community and to work concretely with fungi and to support scientific research in my community, in my concrete surroundings. So this became a desire, or this fungi questioned me anyway, this kind of, how do I relate to that subjects, and what do I concretely change and do in my world?
That's fascinating. Like, have you had any, like, what are the responses of people to the film? Have you been able to be with audiences or connect to audiences responding to the film?
I was lucky to have some real meetings, also quite some Zoom, and but also many feedbacks, like seeing that there are growing communities all over in Europe now also, and in the States it continues anyway. So there is a kind of several awakenings, right? So I guess in a certain urgency, in a certain confrontation, we have to watch some truth now. It's kind of some moment where we really would like to develop individually and collectively. So any kind of visionary idea, inspiration, something to construct, I guess we are really longing for. So I was happy to see that. And I like if films evoke situations where we talk about our lives. And so I saw some beautiful, inspiring people coming to see this film, and I was very happy about that. Yeah, it's inspiring me to be with the public. So and now we just start. We do the cinema release. So, and maybe we get even one step further to really propose more workshops and a laboratory where we can continue to explore potentials of remediation of several approaches with fungi.
Yeah, it's great. I do have a feeling that it is a topic that is more and more like in the picture, and like is interesting people. So I do hope it too. Like if I speak from my own experiences, I have only started to learn about mushrooms when moving to Finland, because it's so part of the culture here to pick mushrooms, and it's a very inspiring way to learn about your environment. And I think it's a great gift that your film is sharing that same stimulation to go out and look around you, what you're living with, and the wonders of that as well. So
Great.
thank you for that.
Thank you.
You were telling about in the start of a book that you're working on now. I just started to be curious if you want to share a bit more about what you're working on, what we can maybe expect from you in the future.
Yeah, well, I would like to work on an open form, so on a empty book in which I project encounters again, like very personal and maybe more psychonautic
Yeah.
explorations about these questions of consciousness and getting aware or being here now, so like inner situations. And and I imagine it in a space, so as a interactive video installation. And I got some funding now to make research on that project here in Geneva. So again, I start collaborate with different artists. I work with an architect from Lausanne, Sebastian Tripot, and with him, we construct a game also from mycelia. I continue to give workshops and to learn about fungi. So there are, yeah, several aspects.
So if people want to like find out more about this, where can they find you or follow you?
They can see this on the website, themushroomspeaks.online. So there I will slowly build up a platform to explore together or to share knowledge and questions. And it's just, I have just a hard time to follow up, but it will happen there, yes.
That's excellent. I think that's a great uh, end to our talk for people to explore further and learn
Mm.
further. Thanks so much for attending, and all the best to you and the film.
Thank you very much, Ruth. All the best for the festival, and I'm happy to continue this dialogue with you.
Thank you.